All right, happy hump day, everybody. Happy hump day, and welcome to another edition of the Dating Diaries, where we discuss dating dilemmas, deal breakers, and disasters. Disasters. So we are here. I am one half, I'm Christal XO, one half of the Dating Diaries, and of course, the other half is Scorpio Moe.
Hello, happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday, Christal.
It's Wednesday.
Damn it, my bad. Okay. Let me do that all over.
Okay, let me bring you back in. I'll bring you back in.
Yeah.
Let me back in. Okay, so I am one half of the Dating Diaries, Christal XO, and the other half of Dating Diaries, of course, is Scorpio Moe.
Bam! Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I don't know what
Hey.
I'm already at Friday. I'm off trying to handle some business. So yeah.
I feel you. Well, you know what? It's midweek, but we're blessed to be here.
I will see you on Friday though, but yeah.
Yes. You'll be back on Friday for Ready to Love. Man, I got some clips we're gonna drop for Ready to Love. That is going to definitely be interesting. Definitely be interesting. What else is going on? How has your week been so far?
It's not bad, but this rain is getting on my nerves. I'm hearing the thunder out there a little bit right now.
Oh, it's raining. It's not raining where I'm at.
It's thundering. I looked out there, it was raining, and the sun was coming out. I don't know what's going on out there, but every day, we're in Atlanta, for those who don't know, and every few years we have a rainy summer.
Yeah.
But this one was a little interesting because I don't think it's necessarily rained all day. So we got kind of like Florida weather.
Yeah.
Main part of the day. And then the sun, that kind of, I don't know. The dads hate these rainy summers.
Yeah, it is. It has sucked. And what's interesting about this summer is not only has it been rainy, but it's also been ridiculously hot. So when it stops raining, you really can't enjoy. You think the rain would bring the temperature down, but it doesn't. It's 92 degrees after the rain. So it's like,
and that's the thing. And I ain't seen a lot of sundresses because maybe I ain't really been out like that. I'm a sundress, no draws kind of guy. That's what I like to see.
Well, I love that for you, and I hope that you see. I hope that it comes back for you. I hope you see it. Yes, I hope it does. I know that you went to see Mr. Denzel Washington.
Yeah, I went to go see him right in my house.
Oh my God! Has anybody in the chat seen Highest to Lowest?
Yes. I don't want to spoil it for you. I ain't gonna say too much, but
well, I don't think there's much chance of that. I don't think there's much chance of you spoiling it for anyone or myself.
Yeah, I made a post about it today. It was, oh boy. But you actually went to the theaters.
I did. It was long. Was it long watching it?
Was it long watching it? Yeah, because it kept buffering. Pause. But yes, that's the only reason why I made it. And then I didn't like it, which made it even worse.
It was 2 hours and 15 minutes, which is a long movie.
Yeah, see, when you're in the house, you don't really know it because you're in the comfort of home.
That's true.
Plenty of snacks and stuff like that, so you just never know.
Tammy saw it was a struggle to get through. At one point, I was like, I'm just gonna leave. I was literally gonna make a break for it a couple of times, and I was like, Christal, you pay. Let me go on and stay and finish this movie. There were not very many people in the theater, and because it was playing at select theaters, so it was definitely not a lot of people, but it
just saw it on Apple TV.
Yeah. You had an interesting take on it, though.
Is that right?
You did, because I didn't think that. I just thought that, artistic people can have hits and misses. Tammy, you liked it? No, she said it was unbelievable. For it, we are in the industry and we agree.
It's just for me, man. It didn't like how it was written. I mean, I'll put it this way: how it was written, it was delivered like Spike Lee writes, but he didn't write it. It's just a lot of stuff I was uncomfortable about the movie. I'm trying to remember ASAP Rocky's name.
It was like Felon.
Young Felon. And I think Spike Lee is playing with us.
What was it? What was the name? Something Felon.
I think it was Young Felon.
It was Young Felon. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like, it's too obvious. Like, it's just too obvious. Like, he was trying to send his own message through characters' names in certain scenarios that I did not like. Because we talked earlier, Spike Lee did not write this, correct?
He did not write this.
Right. Oh, man.
He directed it.
Right.
And Denzel actually took it to him.
It was crazy.
It really is. And I agree, Tammy. ASAP was the best developed character.
No, well, Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright, yeah, he probably was. But I wasn't mad at ASAP Rocky because I didn't expect much from his character. But well, I will tell you one thing that when you told me that was a wig that Denzel was wearing, I did not know that.
Yeah, Denzel's, he's been shaved his hair. It was.
But I see it comes back and it's white. I see him with white hair sometimes.
Not like that. That was a wig. Nicely done. Like I said, he needs to. Tyler Perry needs to consult those people over there at Spike Lee at 40 Acres and a Mule to get the wigs and the hair pieces right. Because Homeboy is, we already know how Tyler Perry is with the wigs.
Yeah, he doesn't care about the authenticity of the male wig. That's not one thing. That's not his concern. He's not concerned about that at all.
At all.
At all. Well, glad you didn't waste that on a date.
Woof. Woof.
Oh my gosh. Well, we got a good show tonight. Make sure that you guys are locked in. Make sure that you go ahead and like this. We have a good show coming up. We have a guest coming on, and we're going to talk about a couple of things that I think the chat is going to enjoy. We got a couple of topics that go across. Definitely, I think we'll have good feedback. We have another guy coming on, so we get the male perspective and the female perspective. But before that, I think that we have to stay true to ourselves, and we have to discuss dating dilemmas, disasters, and deal breakers.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, I think that these things change, specifically deal breakers change the older you get.
Absolutely.
So you may have something that's a deal breaker when you're young. It may not be a deal breaker when you're older. And vice versa. Different things, it changes as we age and as we mature and as we become more of who we're growing into being. So do you have a deal breaker that you definitely have now that you might not have had when you were young? A new deal breaker, if you will. Or if you have something that was a deal breaker back then that's no longer a deal breaker.
I'm just really quick on the draw now with the attitude thing. If I see it earlier, not even pointed at me, how you maneuver. I didn't know about that much before. The long as I didn't see it, and it was, or if I did, it wasn't pointed towards me, I didn't trip.
Yeah.
I bumped my head on that a few times. Now to the point, I see how you act to the people especially who's been around or customer service. It's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Because it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
I see you're kind or considerate or patient, or you give people grace. That's more inviting to me than, because and you know, one of the people I seen her be way I met, well, yeah, when I first was seeing her, I was seeing how she was to other people, mechanics, so on and so forth. And I'm just like, she ain't like that towards me. Everything cool. I didn't see a reason, but eventually that energy came towards my way. And I was like, ah, man, I've seen it. The red flags were there. The caution signs were there. And I've learned now. And you know, some people be like, you give up early. You don't know if they'll do that to you. I'm not going to sit around and find out either.
I think how people show up is how they show up everywhere. And eventually it will come back to you. And I used to say that to you. So it's that's interesting to see. Because I know a lot of guys would say, you know, well, she don't treat me like that. You know what I mean? But then eventually
she does.
Eventually she does. Tammy says, sitting your ex in front of me and don't tell me she's your ex. That's definitely one that we saw on King's Court. One of the guys, he brought this woman that was supposed to be his best friend and said she helped him raise his kid. And I was like, is that his baby mama? But it wasn't. It was a woman he got with after he had his kids, and she helped him raise his kids now. But now they're just friends. They used to be engaged. It was wild. But I do know there are some people that are good friends with their exes, you know?
Didn't we see that on the Never Ever Mets? Something like that?
Yes, I thought about that because I thought about that with the Never Ever Mets. And in fact, I mentioned that in my review because this is my thing. I understand why it's good. In both of these cases, it's the guys, right? Because I think men tend to move on from relationships a lot differently than women do. I definitely believe that with my whole heart. But
better, right? Just different, differently, but not better, right?
I am going to come back as a man. If I come back for another life, I'm going to request never to be, because men, woo, yeah, I think men move on better because they just aren't as bothered. They're not as bothered. Women are, we're just by our design, by the fact that we were made for a man. So our whole design was, Adam said, I'm lonely. And then God said, oh, I'll make you Eve. So of course, Adam, if Eve is gone, he like, well, can you make me another one? Where the Eve that, well, anyway, I definitely think men move on better. And I aspire to be like men. But Haitian Empress says, I have a no kids deal breaker, but past a certain age no longer made sense. I could see that.
Me, like him not wanting any kids, or him not having
him not having any kids, because I feel like she's saying the older you get, most people have kids.
Right.
But I know a lot of guys that don't, which is crazy. Most of the guys I dated did not have kids.
Well, that's funny because a new statistic came out that a lot of men, was it here in Atlanta they were basing it on, or just in general? Well, that was a thing now. There's a lot of men that choose not to get married and have kids, and that's become a higher percentage as, demographic. Yeah.
And women too. I think there's equally a lot of women that don't have kids. And just people don't put marriage and family as big of a priority as I think in times past it has been.
They've been paying attention.
They have been paying attention. They have been paying attention and saying this does not work. So we need to move. We need to do something different. I think for me, I did not really understand when I was younger. I would hear older women say, if you kind of have to dumb yourself down to be with a man. You can't, don't shine, or don't have successes in front of a man. And I used to think that was ridiculous. You know what I mean? But I think the older I get, I'm learning that, you have to do, if a man tells you that he, like all this rhetoric online about men not liking women that are not like traditional and domestic, and not necessarily, and that I don't care about your degrees, we don't care about none of that. I think I used to not think it was bad because I was like, okay, well, I don't, I'm a good person. I don't lead with any of that stuff. But at this point, I don't think that men really want any of that. I think a lot of men. So if I hear a man that says, I don't want a woman, I don't care about degrees and I don't care about her success, that's probably a deal breaker, because I feel like what I've learned is that a lot of men really don't care at all about what a woman's dreams are. They really just want her to care about theirs. So if I hear that type of rhetoric, like there was a guy saying, well, you older women, we don't care about your accolades and all that. Hey, cool, because I think that man probably just wants someone who is only concerned about his dreams. And I used to think that it's got to be both ways. Like if you love someone, you got to want them to be happy. But I really think that there are a lot of men that really don't want the woman to have anything going on outside of the home. They really want her to just be focused on them.
Don't care and don't mind are two different things. I think
but I think moving forward, I think it just.
Got you.
Yeah, the first sign of that, it would be a deal breaker for me at this point in my life, because it just takes a lot of hearing those older women say, never ever, have success in front of your man, hide it. You know what I mean? Now I realize they were speaking from wisdom. A lot of them were speaking from wisdom because a lot of men really just don't like it. I remember there's a friend of mine that she's a judge and her husband's a lawyer. They were both lawyers. She got a promotion to judge. And she said she could tell that he was very, I don't want to say jealous, but resentful of that. So she said that they announced it at church. And everybody clapped for her and stood up that she was going to be a judge. And he did not stand or clap. So that, to me, when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, that's...
Did he find out?
No, he didn't just find out, but the whole church was clapping for his wife. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, hey, man. Hey.
I got you.
I don't. And I don't know what type of men those are that don't want to like, to me, it's like if you're with someone, you should not want them to be unhappy. You should want them to be happy. So but I don't know if that's where we are.
Right.
The more I listen to social media, the more I think it's not like that.
Maybe I don't know, because I don't feel like I'm like that. I haven't heard anything that made me feel the way about anyone's success. But maybe because it clashes with tradition. I think sometimes we want tradition, but we're not giving tradition. And it can be a clash sometimes, depending on everybody's expectations are different. I think those questions need to be addressed. Who we really are early, not who we want to be, who we are, and who we're striving to be early. And people, nobody waver for. I mean, things change.
But you know what's crazy about that though? Realistically, hey, Pretty Parker, you can't, because when you first meet a person and you guys are caught up in that dopamine stage,
that's true.
You can have conversations all the time. I know men are like, well, she didn't really cook that much when we first got together, but we were just caught up in, I was eating love. Like, you're just super happy because you just met the person. And then you get with them for a while, and then all that hype wears off, and then it's like, I'm hungry.
Because you know what it is? You sit up there watching Netflix, eating pizza and cereal, and you can live off that because, like you said, the dopamine, and you just, but when that cereal and pizza,
when that dopamine wears off, what the hell's going on around here? The hell, man?
Remember that episode of Martin? He walked in the house and he was like, I don't smell it. And he said, hold on, let me stop tripping. He opened the stove and looked at it and he seen that before he started tripping.
Yeah, he was like, there was no food. She hadn't even went grocery shopping. And I don't know if we'll ever get to the point where we catch up, because there's such a the tradition is men provide, and then women nurture, but because our lives are so different than they were initially, that's not the case.
Yeah, but for some reason that doesn't seem like men can use that. Only women can use that, and I'm confused.
Well, I think men can use it. I don't know. I mean, hey man, I don't know, but I think everybody can use it. I think, it's one thing to get. You have to figure out, maybe is there a way to avoid the dopamine stage?
Yeah, you can't touch each other.
Yeah.
No, but even the idea, a part of the unknown is just as
Yeah, it's just, and especially, this is something, especially if that person if you come out of a last relationship where you were at a deficit, and this person has a surplus of what you missed before, you tend not to look at their deficit.
That's true.
I know, man. I've had that happen so many times. But I remember the biggest one, my ex was not romantic at all. Well, no, was romantic, super romantic, just so sweet. And then the next person, but he was smothering. The next person was not romantic at all. And I was like, well, I don't really need that, because but then I was like, wait a minute. After the dopamine wore off, I was like, well, damn, I need something. But this person never, ever gave that to me. But I had just had so much of it. I had a reserve. I had a romance reserve. So
that part of is that part of the stage?
I don't know, man.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it could be, but it's how we digest it. That could be
how we digest it.
Because if you skip that part, are you cheating yourself that you gave that, or you allowed yourself to feel that to someone else? And now, because I always feel that way. I feel like if I gave my all, I haven't never gave my all, but as much as I could, I gave a lot, which I thought was a lot. And then I was like, well, if I really like this person and I don't feel like I'm able to be that to them, I feel like I'm cheating them out of who
I think that's why I want to come back as a man, because how you just said I've never really gave my all.
Well, that ain't my fault.
No, I'm just saying y'all are great. Because y'all could just y'all. I'm telling you, I aspire to come back as a man. Hey, I need to at least be 6 foot though.
Ain't my fault.
No, I mean it's just a better deal. We have our guest is in the backstage. He has a podcast. He goes by the moniker of the Dating Commentator. He's been here before. He has come back today to hang out with us and chat about a couple of dating issues. Please help us welcome to the stage Trey Amazing. Hey Trey, I can hear you. There's it feel like there's a little bit of a feedback or something. Try it again.
Testing. How does it sound?
It's got a little. Is it distorted to you, Mo?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's choppy.
I'm calling on my cell phone. Is it still distorted?
Yeah, it's still distorted.
Yeah, it's still.
Let me call back and try again.
Yeah.
Okay, call it back.
Okay. Yeah, that I know that wasn't gonna work. That wasn't gonna work.
The thing is like I believe this. The fact that I'm able to give that to someone. I believe I'm starting to believe that once you gave your all or a lot, you can't give no more. You can only give someone what's left. You can't give no. I think once you give somebody your all, I don't believe you can do it again.
That could be true.
You can give them what's left.
You can give them what's left, right? Yeah, that could be true. That definitely could be true, because I think a lot of people are walking around without the entire totality of themselves.
That part.
Especially the older you get and you've had bad relationships, your heart's been broken. It's hard.
That's what
I'm saying. Let's put Trey. Let's see if this works.
How does it sound now?
It's better.
Still a little
It's still a little.
feedback,
It's
A
it's
little.
not feedback. It's just a little distorted.
a little distorted. Not sure why.
Are you on the
My
phone?
Android is usually pretty capable and dependable.
That may. I mean, we may be able to work with this. Chat. Let us know if we can work with this. It just sounds a little off. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. It definitely sounds better.
Okay, maybe I don't know if it's the acoustics and where I am, or
It could be that it is a little muffled, and it's a little muffled and distorted. Is there? Can you have it up? Because it sounds like is your phone on something?
what about now?
Keep
That's okay.
talking.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, testing.
Yeah, it's still got that. It just is it touching something? Can it be like up? No, it's not. I don't
Okay.
know.
No, I mean,
Turn it
it's
down.
touching my hand right now.
Turn it down just a wee bit.
Or back from it slightly. Now say something.
Testing.
I think it's better. It's better. We'll go
Okay.
with that. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Is there a way that you could turn so that the light is not like right on top of you? Because it's like, yeah, that's better.
I'm not in my apartment. My girlfriend is hosting a dance class. Well,
Oh,
she's teaching a dance class in our apartment, so I had to sneak down to the clubhouse.
okay. Well, we appreciate you
So
doing that. We appreciate
thank you for having me.
Of course.
What did I walk in on?
Oh, well, you walked in on us having a discussion about we initially I asked the question because there's a lot of social media that I would even say like the David Justice Holly Berry thing about a man saying she didn't cook and clean and she wasn't nurturing, so I didn't want her, you know what I mean? And a lot of people are like, she was an actress, she was a big time movie star, like, whoa. And I saw on your page, you were like, well, she wasn't a big movie star, but you don't get to be a big movie star unless you work hard. You know what I mean? So I love the fact that she clapped back because she's with a man that appreciates her and loves her. But that it just was crazy to see people really split. And the fact that a person would, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a man, and I am learning that I don't know very much. So what was your take on that?
I felt that, and I indicated this on my page. To me, it was indicative of another blatant double standard, because take the David Justice and Halle Berry situation. Let's put that to the side for a second. How many times across social media have you seen women champion and encourage and support women who leave their marriages because their man is not a provider? Or, the man loses a job and, okay, well, he can't provide. I've literally seen women in droves encourage and, you go, girl, put your happiness first. You got to do what you got to do. Men are supposed to provide. If he's not providing, you got to leave. That's fine. But then when you take a gentleman who comes over here and he has traditional expectations and he's with the woman that doesn't meet them and he decides to leave, now he's being burned on digital effigy. Everybody's coming down on David Justice. And I'm like, well, what's the difference? And so what I caught when this story broke and I started going to the comments, I'm a professional lurker at this point. I'm noticing and I'm like, so when women divorce, they're championed and encouraged, but when we leave, we're demonized and vilified. So with David Justice, it just, to me, that was the only thing that I gleaned from it. Was this was just another example of a double standard. It's okay when women leave us, for their own reasons. We're not providers. We're not this, that, and the third. But as soon as a man says, no, I'm out, I want a divorce, then he's demonized, he's vilified, he's afraid of commitment. He wasn't there, for the long haul. So many other things that people were hurling at him. And I'm like, why is there a difference? Or why is it that it's one of those, it's okay when you do it, but it's not okay when I do it?
Yeah. So everybody should just leave everybody. I think if a man loses his job, F you. And if a woman is not a Betty Crocker, F her. Let's make it even, because we're not saying, nobody is saying that hey, if he loses his job, but he has aspirations to get another one and he really wants to provide, give him some grace, right? And in
Mm-hmm.
the same token, we're not saying, you know what? I mean, she's a movie star. Maybe you could hire a nanny. Maybe you could hire a housekeeper. No, what we really want to say nowadays is just, you know what? If you're not perfect, F you. And if I'm not perfect, F me. So that, I mean, we could make it the double standard equal to where, you know, because there are a lot of men, I know a lot of men who are like, I'm afraid if I lose my job, my girl is going to leave me. And I'm always going to,
Absolutely.
that's not how you do. You know, I personally have been in situations with someone where they lost a job, and I would never walk away from someone that, you know, now I would walk away from someone if they weren't trying ever. Like, you know,
Absolutely.
if years went on, they were just like, girl, I'm just gonna kick my feet up and let you. But if they lost their job and they were seriously trying, I don't believe that you just walk out on somebody. But in the same token, if you marry a woman that is a career woman, is there a way around that? But, you know, with him, he was like, he also said that if they went to therapy, he could have fixed it. So that's the part that the context that nobody is looking at. He did say it very raw, but he also said he knows now that if they had went to counseling, it probably could have been fixed. But he was young and he had a very narrow-minded view of what a woman should be. So that's the
Oh,
context.
absolutely.
Did not
No,
say that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody is a great Monday morning quarterback. Everybody can look back and think, you know, this is what I should have done, could have done this. I mean, we're all guilty of that. What kills me is the divide in the generations. When people were in the comments talking about who's this nobody, I'm like, wait a minute, no, in the mid-90s, David Justice was the shit.
Oh, they were just,
Okay.
yeah, they were just,
He was the man. Okay. And I'm not saying he was, you know, he was MLB, Halle Berry was Hollywood. But at the end of the day, David Justice wasn't, you know, he wasn't you know, he was a big thing going on back then. And I'm not defending, you know, how he ended things because again, and I'm someone who's divorced. I am someone, me myself, I believe marriage is supposed to be till death do us part. Nowadays, you know, you don't see that. You know, it started long before David Justin Halle Berry, but you know, I've said now the way people leave marriage now, people aren't divorcing, people are simply unsubscribing. That's all. That's all that it is. People are getting in, and you know, they find imperfection. The imperfection becomes a justification to simply leave. Put your happiness above the commitment you made in front of your family, friends, God, the whole nine. Put your happiness first if you're a woman. If you're a man, no, you put that woman's happiness over yours.
Right.
Anything else, you will be demonized. You will definitely, as men, we don't have the latitude to divorce women. I mean, we can, you know, we're definitely legally allowed to divorce women, but you will definitely be crucified across social media if you do.
well, do y'all care about that? I don't think they care about that.
I got a question. Do women have the fear of anything once they're in it? Maybe it's weight, maybe it's, but like you were saying about when men know if they're in a situation where they lose their job, she might not leave at that moment, but we know the countdown has begun.
The countdown has begun.
And that pressure, and we know this before getting married.
Yeah.
That's why some guys dread saying it or take a minute to say, try to find another job before they have to make the announcement or whatever it is, because they know at that point they're on the clock. Now, is there something where a woman does, because we're talking about tradition, and oftentimes you hear, you know, it's protect and provide, and women are expecting that. But then when men are expecting tradition, it's like, well, I'm a career woman, you shouldn't be, you know, it's this added pressure. So is there something a woman entering a marriage that she fears, like before it happens? Like, well, if this happens, then it's the countdown.
I do think I agree with Andrea, because I would just say being a woman is definitely very different, right? Because there's and this is just my opinion. I'm not speaking for all women, but I feel like there's so many things that you have to be good at. And if you're not, you know, there's no space for you. So if you gain weight, he's not going to want you, right? He's not going to be attracted to you. There's constant pressure of if she don't look this way or and eventually you won't look like that. You know what I mean? Like, so I think the biggest things with women is like, men, you got to look a certain way. And women are required to work also. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know very many. I do know some women that don't have to work. Right. But for the most part, women are also working. Right. And if she's working, but she's not given the credit for it. And if she gains weight, or if she looks older, if she's not, if his friends don't think that she's fly, then it's just the looks, how you show up and because you need to have some sense of something about you. Men say that they like traditional women, but most of them are attracted to women that are also doing other things, and they're just disappointed because she's not able to do it all. She is supposed to be able to look good, have porn star sex, work a great job, earn a living, contribute to the family, and then also cook and clean and then rub his ego. And I can just say, I've talked to a lot of women that are single, especially older women. They're just like, it's a lot. It's too much to do. I cannot work and and do it. And yes,
I agree.
Are great. And let me suck that. And let me do this. And if you do anything that they don't like, then they're gonna cheat, or they're gonna leave, or they're gonna. So it is. And then God forbid you just get older. You know what I mean? And I remember this older guy who said, my wife gets 40, I'll trade her in for 220s. That is very harsh. We hear men online saying women are older, there's no value to them. They're not attractive. I want a young woman. So imagine that type of pressure. So maybe we're all miscommunicating with each other. But in my opinion, what I feel like a man would want, the man that says he wants a traditional woman, I think he wants someone that's a busting suds and mopping, washing dishes, go to work, come home, and still look amazing. Because if you don't look amazing, they're gonna want to cheat or leave you or talk bad to you, it's just. And then also, if he's ever down, if he loses his job, massage his ego. But if you lose your job, you can't talk to him about it because he doesn't really want to engage. He wants you to be all about him. So it is exhausting.
I think definitely what you described is a hyper old school traditional man. But not all of us are like that. I'm not traditional. I'm a man that, yes, if I'm with a woman with a college degree, I do expect her to work. I'm not forcing her. It's not a case of if I meet you and you have no job and now we get together and I say, no, you got to work. If I meet you and you're already a school teacher, I expect you to continue being a school teacher or doing something, so it's not a force, but I'm also a man that says that when it comes to cooking and cleaning, that is also my responsibility as well. I know how to cook. I'm damn near a better cook than my girlfriend. We compete. She's losing, by the way. So I'm someone that as a man, because I can clean up after myself, because I can make a mess, I can clean up after myself in the home. I can clean up the bathroom. I can clean up the kitchen. I can cook a meal. There are days throughout the week, every week, where my girlfriend, she knows, just go lay down, put your feet up. I will cook, prepare the plate, bring it to you, bring you a beverage, take the plate and clean it. I do that because she also will do that for me as well. So I think that you have to be mindful of the character and the values of whomever you date or whoever you decide that you want to marry. Some men are very much traditional. I work and pay all the bills, but she's going to be my sandwich making sex slave. Okay. Yeah. She will cook every day, 3 meals a day. She will, take care of the kids. The house will be she will be the black Donna Reed, or who was it? Donna? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so some men want that. I don't want that. I'm a different breed. I'm a different kind of man, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you have some men who are modern, some men who are traditional, and some men who are hybrid. So as a woman, that's the point of dating. Find that man who is your perfect bowl of porridge. He's not too extreme in one area, but there's a fit. And I think that is a great starting point.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, yeah, I would never say that. I would never say I expect you to go work a 9 to 5 job and come home and always be the cook, always be the cleaner, and fuck me like, Jada Fire or something. I think that's a little extreme. Sorry, Jada Fire, my favorite. Shout out to Jada Fire. I know she retired, but
Definitely shout
she
out.
the goat.
Okay.
Anyway, so I mean, at the end of the day, you have to find the man and his values.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny about that? The exterior of the man that they like is the man that they don't like.
What do you mean?
Like a lot of stuff that he just named, like, and this is the wild part about it. Like, you could give it whatever title you want. I want to give it, but I'm not offend anybody. But I don't know. Want something, but you don't want the thing that comes with it. Like you can want this very masculine that comes off masculine, or what you think is masculine, and then once you get that, you realize the standards stuff that he wants. Like, well, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
He wanted the look, and this a lot of times comes with that. Or
And I think that goes both ways because men want the woman that looks a certain way, and I'm not going to spend no time on this ridiculousness that Paul Pierce said, but he was like, oh, don't get the pretty girl, get the girl that's a 5 or 6 that's gonna put her elbow into it. Same thing. Like men, you want a certain girl that looks like this, and then you realize she ain't really out there for you. She really wanna twerk and she really wanna be around the guy with the money, and she's willing to leave if one get we don't
want that.
We all get tricked by our eyes, you know what I mean? I think that's part of being a human, But let's get to the first topic for today. The first topic for today is there such a thing as homosocials? And I saw this, and I had seen it before. I saw it on your page, Trey, and I thought, wow, because I talked with a friend of mine. She was saying a lot of men really just don't like women, right? I do think you have some guys that like being around all women, right? They like to hang out with girls more than guys. And I just say, as a woman, those usually are kind of scary for me because those are usually the ones that I would think would cheat because they love being around the company of a woman. They're not want to really be around a lot of guys. Then there's the ones that they hang out with their guy friends and they don't really want to be around women, but it's because they don't really like the company of women, right? And it doesn't really change. So let's play this clip, and then I want to hear what you guys have to say about this new trend of homosocials.
He says, and how he feels about women in general. Because a lot of us are dating men that are homosocials, and homosocials mean that he's not homosexual at all. He just does not find women interesting. Everything that he finds interesting has something to do with other men. Going to sporting events, hanging out with them, watching the game, playing basketball. If you ask him, hey, what do you think about this comedian? Oh, she not funny. You don't think no women are funny? Oh, what do you like to do with women? Everything involves another male. So they only find desire in having sexual experiences with women, but they don't find women interesting. And if you listen to that, you can save yourself a lot of trouble up front because you'll find out he really don't like women like that. Because everything he finds interesting in is stuff that him and his homeboys would do. Him and his homeboys will like photos on Instagram. Him and his homeboys will try to send photos that are inappropriate back and forth. That's what he finds interesting.
She said, homosocial.
Homosocial.
I said, hold on.
All right, we'll start with Trey since that was on your page. What are your thoughts on the homosocial?
I agree. And of course, obviously, it's applicable to both genders. I know that's cliche to say that, but you do have you can be, as a man, you can be a misogynist and a chauvinist, but you still want pussy. You still get horny. And so you are going to have those men. I do find that what she said, her description, has a great deal of validity because you are going to have men who really just don't want to be around women unless, it's for sexual purposes, or unless they're ready, they need a meal, or they want, something in their home clean, something like that. You are going to have women who are like that. You're going to have women who see no use or utility in having a man other than, pay my bills and that's it. So yeah, I think that, and I'm not sure, I don't know what the psychosis is. It sounds like something mentally, could be going on in terms of maybe they're traumatized, maybe they're, need counseling, need therapy, unhealed, whatever the case may be. But you are going to have those people who are going to exhibit those behaviors where they want absolutely nothing to do with the opposite sex other than, very specific activities, very specific, responsibilities. Like I said, you can hate women. You can be a man and completely hate women, but you still get horny. You're still like, well, I still want to have sex, but outside of sex or outside of cooking for me, you don't need to be in the atmosphere. Go,
Yeah.
You go your way, I go mine. This applies to both. I don't know. I don't know if it's psychosis or whatever the case may be, but it's definitely it's prevalent out there. There's a lot of people who may not want to admit it,
Yeah.
but they are homosocials. They don't like the opposite gender, except when it's time to either have sex or get a bill paid,
Or a meal. Or
or a
salami.
meal, or something else.
Yeah, something that is characteristic to that gender. Mo, what do you think?
I slightly disagree.
Okay.
Because I've never heard that. I've talked amongst men. They like to be around. And it could be, to a certain degree, that's why I said like degree, because I feel it like that's the only time that they're like uncomfortable unless that's on the table, whatever they can do or whatever. But at the same time, it just seems maybe I don't like the wording of it because hate is such a strong word. I don't think that. I think some people, for some people, that's what they see in you. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times you'd be like, well, all he wants is, SCX. And it was like, well, maybe that's all he values in you. That's all he sees in you. But to someone else, he find out that maybe she likes sports like he does, or whatever the case may be, he can talk to her on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
But at the same time, I hear the females, some women talk, and when you hear them, it's like everything is based on like, oh, I like him. He looks like he can. Everything is an act of service. That's why you like him. He looks like he can build stuff for you. He looks like he could. Everything is for you. I think you sent me a clip. I don't know if I sent it to you. You sent it to me, where a woman was like, you know what? I'm tired, man. Come get me. I'm going to listen. I'm going to do this because I'm tired of paying these bills. He's there as a tool. It's not like, you know what? I see something. I just want to be loved and loved back. It wasn't nothing about that. It was her just tired. Life was kicking her ass. And she didn't want a man. She didn't want a man. She wanted help. So I see it on both sides, but I never came to my mind that women, man, I think they like some things that we do, and that's fair. But I just think hate is such a strong word. And I've never heard a man-to-man conversation. We talked about some things that a brother said he hated a woman.
Right. No, actually, I do agree. I'll just say this. I do agree in the sense of a man could feel that way with one woman and then something completely different with another. Because I've definitely, I at my age and all my experiences, yes, there have definitely been women I've come across who all they were good for were blowjobs and doggy style, and that's it. That was their whole utility. And it's not that it's something that, I just, deem it. I'm like, well, your whole approach in my life, your whole character and how you carry yourself, you were put on this earth for doggy style and blowjobs. Whereas this other woman, yes, this other woman is somebody I'm like, from day one, I'm envisioning, a future or meeting their parents and so on and so forth. So you do have examples where sometimes it depends on that woman or that person.
There you go.
Okay. All right. I just have to get myself together. That was
That was me being very transparent. I've said that a couple times where I'm like, well, there's someone in this.
I'd rather have an
That's
ugly
real.
truth. I say I'd rather have an ugly truth than a pretty lie. So, but also I have to be honest about it's hard to hear, but I would rather hear that than not. So I get it. You I think that I have heard men in my years that do not really enjoy female company outside of, like you said, Trey. I kind of agree with you. I think there are men who really don't enjoy it unless there's intimacy, cleaning, or cooking, right? They're not just want to hang out with girls. And then I also think I do have female friends that really don't enjoy guys' company outside of them spending money on them and maybe sex, right? So I do think that there are homosocials on both sides, because I think now hate, they may not say hate, but I do know some female friends that are super irritated if they don't really respect the way men talk, the way men relate, because it's very different. Especially the older we get, we realize we're very different. There are some women who don't appreciate that. And I do know there are a lot of men who really don't, unless she bent over or she doing something. I mean, I hang out with my boys and that, and some of them, if they're not hanging out with their boys, they really just don't want to be bothered. They don't want to hear a woman talking. They just not into women's conversation. So I think that the title is Salacious Homosocials because it sounds very salacious, right? But I do think there are men who are not really into friendships with women, and there are women who are not into friendships with men, because if that's the case, a lot of those men, I know a lot of men who don't have women that are friends. They have friends with benefits, which means women that they sleep with, right? But as far as just like kicking and hanging out and talking, they ain't really trying to do that. And I think the same thing is true for women.
If you ever notice, I'm assuming I'm comfortable because my family is predominantly women, so I could be around women and not have this predator vibe.
Yeah.
Because I've been around them all my life. Like I got 6 sisters, like, so I'm comfortable without even trying to, like, but some dudes, if they never really had that, then it's like, it's different territory for them. That's what I've seen.
Yeah. I don't think we can ignore that there are people like that on both sides.
Right.
Absolutely. And for me, it's never been a gender thing. I mean, I went to an all male school and I belong to a fraternity, but I'll tell you in a heartbeat, I don't like being around a lot of men. I just don't. I'm at the age now where majority of my guy friends are either married with children and, raising their families, or they're still living in bachelorhood. But everyone, all my friends, we're all living in silos now. Yeah. And then I have female friends who are doing the same. If I don't like being around someone, it has nothing to do with your gender. It's just I don't like you, or you have boring conversation, or you're not exciting, or you're not engaging. It has nothing to do with you, whether or not you're a man or a woman. It's just like, okay, you're just boring, or we don't have a connection or a chemistry. We can't talk about anything. We're just not compatible in that sense. But yeah, you are going to have those people out there who they really don't want anything to do with the opposite sex until there is something they need done. Till there is something, a task, an obligation, or something I need done. I need fixed, cooked, fucked, licked, something. That's when they come in.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it's like, no, we don't need you around.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. I always have had friends on both sides, you know what I mean? So I'm always somebody that enjoys, friends with guys and friends with females. There also are some girls that don't like being friends with any girls. They only like guys. And there are some guys who don't really want to be friends with any guys. They only want to hang out with women. You know what I mean? So there are all sides of that equation, but yeah, so I think we can agree that there are some. I think it would be difficult to be in a relationship with someone like that unless you yourself are like that too. So if you're married to a man who really doesn't have any interest in anything that involves a woman outside of cooking and sexing and maybe taking care of the kids, you need to I guess that person deserves love too, but they also need to be with a woman who, who can have a very full life outside of your mate. There are a lot of people that think you should be best friends with your mate. A lot of people that think that's not what that's for. So I think on both sides, you have to figure out what you want. And that's why you have to really get to know yourself to know what's important to you,
Facts.
I agree.
All right, so let's move on to our second topic for tonight. I know you guys are going to like this one. Are you good, Trey?
Let's go.
Okay, all right. So this one, Mo and I have talked about this before. This one is basically a man who is a dating coach. He is giving men advice on why they should never take a woman on a first date to a restaurant. He has some facts lined up. We're going to listen to what he has to say, and then we will chime in afterwards. Here we go.
Dates as the first date. Reason number one is because you don't know if she wants the food or you. This is where men and women differ. You see, women can hang out with you and not like you, whereas men, we only exclusively hang out with women we find attractive. There has been thousands of videos of girls saying, look, I had no money in my bank account, I had no groceries, this guy offered dinner, so I went. So you took her out as an opportunity to get to know her, she went out with you as an opportunity to get fed. Reason number two, the logistics of the situation aren't ideal. In most cases, like this table right here, you're 5 feet away from your date? It makes it harder to break touch barrier, harder to flirt because you're so far away in like an interview like setting. So unless you're going to a second spot after, this situation is not ideal. And the last reason why I don't do dinner dates on the first one, I want to see her intentions. If she pushes back on me and says, oh, I prefer more of a dinner, I'm a dinner girly, great, eat before we hang out. But if she insists on eating with me, then I now know she's more interested in the food and not getting to know me. If you're a guy that's been blowing bags on dinner dates and you're never seeing this girl again and you're dating.
All right, there we go. So he has some very clear advice on MB says that's dumb. Let me know what you guys think. We'll start with Mo this time. Should you take a girl on a date for dinner on a first date, and give us your feedback, yes or no?
I don't see nothing wrong with it, but I understand. Now, where we might go to dinner might be the trick, but I definitely understand. Where are you going? If she's demanding 5-star, then I say no. I mean, essentially the date is about to get to know you. You know what I mean? I remember when I was telling you I was spending this money or money and stuff, and you was like, go out, make, I think you said past 9 and say just go out for drinks. So I did, and I come to find out she waited to eat until then. It still didn't work.
But I also would tell you to go like on ice cream dates or.
Now I think this was after the ice cream. You did tell me that, but I never called me back again.
You gotta stay close to your microphone because your sound is going in and out when you move away from your mic.
Yeah, she never called me back again when I did the ice cream date.
You ain't like that girl anyway.
Not really. She's still. That's not the point. Listen, I just think when a man certain place and they start getting specific, that's when it starts to be a turn off. But
what say you?
So the dating advice that, I realize, I've had to accept the fact that I'm in UNC status in my life because of my age. I'm UNC now. And it's hard for me to wrap my mind around that, but I'm doing my best. If I can talk to, the next generation of men, I don't think there's anything wrong with a dinner date for a first date. However, it would never be what I've learned later in my life and I applied, to this current relationship I'm in now. If I get your phone number on a Friday, I'm not going to take you to dinner on a Saturday.
Right.
My value system postulates that I don't take a woman out on a date who can't even call me back or return my text messages. So even in my current relationship and what I started doing later in life, if I got your phone number and I called you, if you can't return my phone call, or if you do that whole wait a week and say, oh, I've been busy, or I lost my phone, or my phone got cut off, okay, then that lets me know you don't like me that much. Why should I take you out on a dinner date? Now, if we have some conversations, or, I call you and you're busy, I'll leave a voicemail and you call me back. If we can have a conversation, we can talk over the phone. If I can establish that there is some semblance of interest on your part, or you like me, then yes, I have no problem taking you to a dinner date. That's not a problem. Or, it could be a ice cream date, whatever the case may be, but I'm not going to do that for a woman if I feel like she doesn't even like me enough to return my call. So there's never going to be, well, hopefully this is my last relationship, but the old me, I wish I could go back and say, stop chasing women to spend money on them.
There you go.
If I could go back and I think about all the instances where I've taken women out on a dinner date and never hear from them again, I'm like, man, I wasted my money, or I wasted my time.
Yeah.
Because fact of the matter is, let's not kid ourselves. There are women out there who go out on dates simply for a free meal.
Yeah.
Let's I'm not saying this is the case. I'm not going to paint all women with the same brush. I'm not going to generalize, but I'm not going to deny the fact that there are definitely women out there who see a date as an opportunity for a free meal. So, if I'm convinced, or if I have the impression that a woman actually likes me, she likes talking to me, we can have a good conversation. Okay, let's continue this conversation over a good meal.
Right. Are you going?
I don't mind doing something like that. But in any other situation, for other men, I may say, look, you can take a woman out on a date and we can go axe throwing. We can go rock climbing. We can go do an activity that involves us communicating. And as a man, it's like, okay, if I say, hey, you want to go out Saturday night, and you say you're open, I say, hey, let's go rock climbing. We're going to have an activity that involves you and I talking. If she's not in agreement with it, then lets me know that, okay, this may not be the woman for me. If she's immediately just wants the food, if she wants to go on a date where she can get something tangible, then, it's probably not going to be a go.
Are you going to Noble on the first date if you do go?
Depending on the conversation. Again, the relationship I'm in now, we went out. I took her out to a very nice Italian restaurant on our first date because she mentioned that she loved Italian food. But I took her to that nice restaurant because she returned my calls. And when she did return my calls, we actually talked. We had engaging conversation. So I felt like, okay, let's continue this on a date. Right. She earned, yeah. I didn't want to say that, in the back, I'm like, you earn it. Earn that. If you want me to spend that, $150, $200, damn it, the very least you can do is return my phone calls and talk to me, engage with me, act like you like me, or at least, do a better job pretending, but I mean, like me. And I've always stated that find a woman.
Mo, you got to talk. He's got to talk closer to his microphone because.
Yeah. But now you're saying that's it, and I know, and I try to avoid saying that word "earn," but
yeah, I tried to say, well, thank you for saying it for me.
Yeah, but that's what it feels. It's just like that. We just want some effort and want to see if you really messing with us like that, and that's all that is, man. I mean, we're just asking for something genuine, and then we'll do that. But if we don't see that or feel that, it's kind of tough to spend that kind of bread on that when you do it. And then they think, oh, it's about the money or your brokey or whatever they say. And they don't understand it's not about, it's only about money when it's the wrong person.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, I definitely agree. When it's the wrong woman, when it's the woman that she is not for you, spending $10 will make you feel like, man, I wasted $10. But the right woman, you can spend hundreds, and it feels natural. It feels like I want to give you this. I want to spend this on you. I want to take you out. I want to take you to Buckhead, to the nicer restaurants, to Buckhead Village and all that stuff because I like you. Why? Because you've shown that you like me. And I promise you, finding someone that likes you, that is, to me, that's the magic bullet. Find someone who likes you. And then the rest to me falls in place. But I did, again, I had to reach Unc status to realize I'm not about to chase a woman down to give her a free meal.
Thank you.
So it really got to the point where when I met women and I exchanged numbers, if I didn't get a call back, trust, I just deleted your number and moved on.
That's why I'm not mad
So
at that. That's actually
I ain't call some of y'all back. That's why.
Oh yeah, no. If I could, if my nephews or if I had my nephews or younger fraternity brothers, I would tell them, get a woman's number, call her. If you call her, I hope she doesn't pick up. I don't want her to pick up the phone. I want to call the woman and leave a voicemail. After I leave said voicemail, I delete her number. The only way we're gonna talk is if she calls me back. If she doesn't call me back, then hey, nobody wasted each other's time. You call me back, that's a great first step. You call me back, you show me interest. But I would definitely tell the next generation, call her one time, leave a voicemail, and delete the number right then. Don't chase, don't run, don't stalk, don't message her on social media, don't go up to her job, don't do none of that. I don't chase anybody to give them anything for free. I'm not chasing anybody to spend my money.
Nobody's going to chase a bill. Let's be clear.
You're right. I'm not chasing that.
I guess for me as a woman, I would say that I probably would have had even less dates if that's the case, because sometimes, we're just so different. Men and women are so different. If a guy calls me and leaves a message, I may or may not call him back because a lot of times you don't know if they're serious. Like, that's really a thing. Like, I don't know if I like you just because I saw you. Women are not as visual as men are, right? So a man, you excited, men are really excited because of what the woman looks like. And it's crazy because I was telling Mo when I was dating, I had a couple of my guy friends told me, because I'm the type, my favorite food is New York pepperoni pizza. That's my favorite food, right? That is really, I would go, if someone asked me on a date to go to Slice. You guys know there's a spot here that was called, I don't think Slice is around anymore, but Camelli, Slice, where I like the pizza, I would go. And a couple of my guy friends were like, no, stop doing that, because then they think that they could get up. You need to see how he sees you, right? And I will say, in my experience, that was true, because a lot of times I would have guys ask me out and ask me to nice places if they really were into you, right? And I'm not the type of person that's going to go for a meal because I could eat at my house. I'm not really a foodie like that. And I'm like, my time is more important than the dinner. Like, I do have girlfriends that'll be like, we gonna get a meal. And I was like, girl, I can't take the time because I don't want it. I could eat at the house. You know what I mean? I don't need to go eat your food. I never was in a situation where I didn't have my own money to buy my own food. But most of these girls aren't either. They just don't want to spend their money, right? So that was never my thing. I'm like, now I got to drive to this date. I got to sit down. It's probably not going to be anything positive. I don't want to waste my time. My time is more valuable than that $50 for my meal. So then I also would tell guys, I will pay for my own meal, because I got tired of hearing, well, if I go out with her and it don't work, now I waste my money. Don't worry about it, dude. I'll pay for my own meal. And that was horrible. They would get so offended. Men would get really offended if you offer to pay for your own meal. I had one guy, like, really, we got into it, and it wasn't even an expensive meal. I was like, because I just was trying to figure out how to not be on y'all's toes. Like, it is really difficult because men are just like, I want to buy you a drink. I'm good. I don't need one. Take it. Now, if I take it and I don't like you, now you're mad. I told you I didn't want to drink. If I go out and I offer to pay for my own meal, you think you all that. I'm just trying to make sure you don't waste your money and I don't waste my money or my time. So it feels a lot like you just can't win. But I would say that for me, I may not call you right back because I don't know you. And you may not have good intentions for me, because out of the men that you date, 90% are probably not going to have great intentions for you.
So
10 may, but what?
You can't call him back on the phone and get to know him, or he has to take you
Right.
out.
No. But I didn't say that. I'm not talking about he has to take me out to eat, because I always would talk to a person first, because I don't want to waste my time. What I'm talking about is what Trey said about him leaving me a message, and if I don't call him back, he deletes my number. Then I probably wouldn't have talked to most of the guys, because I probably wasn't going to call you, because I don't know. I just don't know. And you don't know if you like me either. You're probably just, the intensity of a man chasing you is how attracted he is to you. I am not driven by attraction, but I will tell you this. This is just my experience. It doesn't have to be right. But what I can tell you is, if I had a conversation with a man and I started to like that conversation, then his value went up, So because sometimes the thirstiest dudes are the wackest dudes, because they just are trying to get to you because they want to hit, or they're not genuine. So sometimes weeding that out is just kind of being easy. If I'm home, if you call me, it's not that I'm ignoring you, it just may not be a priority. You cannot be a priority to me until you become one. So if I don't call you back, I'm also a very busy person, especially when I was dating. I was working a lot. I may not have gotten to call you back. Now, if you call me again and I pick up the phone and we have a great conversation, then we can talk. But it doesn't mean that I didn't like you because I didn't call you back. You just weren't a priority, and I may have other stuff going on. I would say, if you just like, and again, it's kind of like, I had a girlfriend that would be like, when I meet a guy, she would want him immediately to be wanting to be with her. And I'm like, he can't be wanting to be with you because he doesn't know you. And I would say the same thing with a man. If you see me out and you get my number and you call me and I don't call you back one time, maybe, I'm not saying that you should stalk anybody, because it's too many people out here and people are crazy. But I'm saying, if you think it's worth it and you call again, that doesn't make you a simp, because you cannot be a priority to me until I know you. You walking up to me and giving me your number does not make you a priority.
Oh, no, I agree. That part, no, I definitely agree. But one of the things that I want women to understand and really take away from this, I think, I don't know the gentleman who made that video, never met him. So I don't know his background or anything, but I can almost understand, well, no, I'm not going to say almost, I can understand the motivation that would make men come up with videos like that, because the fact of the matter is, ladies, even as men, nobody wants to feel used. I don't care if it's for a meal. I don't care if it's for your body, your money, your resources, your clout, whatever. Feeling used is not a great feeling at all. Being a man doesn't mean that I have to take, more opportunity or higher risk to be used. And so I think for men, when you have men who are making videos like this, or, other variations, I think they've reached a point where they look back and they've had those experiences where they felt like, okay, this woman, it was all good until we went on a date, and then you never hear from them again. You don't even get a thank you, or whatever the case may be. I know I've definitely been in that situation more than once, where you felt like, I felt like, okay, I just got used for a very, very nice meal at a very nice restaurant, and then crickets, nothing. And so, I want women to understand that men, we don't want to feel used either. It's not a great feeling. It is.
Can I ask a
Sure.
question? Okay, I'll give you an example. And I want you guys to speak to this. I understand that nobody wants to be used. A woman doesn't want to be used for her body, and a man doesn't want to be used for his pocketbook, right? I don't want to be used for no red carpet events. I don't want to be used for access. You don't want to be used for, providing, right? But if we go on a first date, I went on a first date with this guy one time. He took me to a very nice restaurant, and the conversation, I've said this about on the show before. He told me that his children were not my problem. I never had to worry about his children, because they live with what they were going to be living with their mother, and they would never be a problem for me, right? He told me that the mother needed to get herself together because she was going to have custody of the kids. And that way he wanted to assure me that I would never have to worry about his children being a problem. To me, that was a huge turnoff. Okay. So I went to a very nice seafood restaurant downtown Atlanta, Oceanair, right?
Nice.
And he told me these things. I did not want to go out with him again after hearing that. To him, to his friends, he probably said she used me for a meal. I did not use him for a meal. I could take myself to Oceanair. I did not like him. I did not like his conversation. I have gone on a lot of first dates where I don't like their conversation. And I don't like your conversation when you tell me that your kids are not important. You don't even know what grade your child is in. I've checked out. I'm not interested, right? So that's not what I want to do. Some people, they will. I had one guy tell me on a first date that he had been in an accident and he was pretty much impotent. I did not want to go out with him again. Okay. Not only did he tell me he was impotent, but he told me that he wanted to have a baby. And the way he would have to do it, would have to be medically taken care of. And he wanted to make sure he had a woman that didn't have dusty eggs. So you're telling me that your Johnson doesn't work. And you are saying, and this was when I was in my early 30s, so I could still have a baby. But I was just like, why would I? So I have to have a baby with someone that I'm probably not getting pleased by? That was on the first date.
You were right not to call him back.
I was right.
I wouldn't blame you.
It's a lot easier.
No, I agree. I agree with you. In those scenarios, you bring up a great point, and I agree with you because that's what feelings are. Feelings are visitors. Doesn't mean they're real. They can come in and out. And so I do agree with you 100%. A man we can feel used, and maybe we don't realize. Maybe we were just a boring date, or maybe we just had a whack conversation, or maybe we said something on the date that just turned the woman off completely. We don't know that. So I do agree with you in that sense that perception is not always reality. I may perceive this as a failed date. She used me. She didn't call me back. When in reality, it could have been maybe I wasn't a gentleman enough, or maybe just my conversation or I wasn't what she thought I was going to be. So no, I do agree. You bring up a great point.
But it's a lot easier to deal with that conversation.
Oh, your mic.
I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's so when you go back, it's just low. I don't know why.
Even back. It's a lot easier to deal with for ice cream than over Oceanair. So imagine you see what I'm saying? It's a lot easier to deal with when you spend $40 to $60 opposed to $260 to hear that same thing. So that's why the brother said, take the woman, take her out somewhere like that or whatever. So same conversation, same energy, just costs a lot less to hear.
I mean, it just depends. Like I said, I never really had a problem with that, but I did have a lot of guys that would take me on nice first dates. So I ain't really tripping on that. But and I also I don't care about the food. I went to the zoo for the first date before. I've gone on horseback riding for the first date. I don't care about the food. Like, food is not a motivator for me. It is a motivator for some people, but my main thing was I just didn't want to waste my time. I feel like a lot of times wasting the time, I can't get that time back.
It's our time. It's not just your time. It's not just his time. Everybody put time.
But I never hear men complain about time. I only hear them complain about money. I'm complaining about time because y'all are not on the same clock that women are.
You just said last week, time is money. So if it's money, it's time. You just said
that doesn't apply. But no, I don't ever hear men say she wasted my time. I hear them say she wasted my money. I spent $200. I spent this. I'm saying I don't care about the money for me. So it's not the same thing. I don't want to drive 30 minutes up the road, 45 minutes up the road, sit across from you for 2 hours, drive an hour back. I I don't see men value time as much as women do when it comes to dating, because they kind of like dating multiple people, having a good time. And for me, that's more important. I would pay for my own food, cold, but they never wanted me to do that. And my guy friends would say, don't pay for your food. Don't let him take you no place else. Make sure he shows up and treats you a certain way from the jump.
Now that point again, and it's all about dating etiquette, because I do feel like, yes, if we're going on a first date, trust me, I'm a consummate gentleman. You will see, a master class on how to be a gentleman in terms of opening your door, pulling out your chair. If you walk to the table, I stand up. If you have to go to the bathroom, I stand up. Come back to the table, I stand up. I believe in being a gentleman. I believe in making a woman feel special on that date, because she's giving me her time. She could be anywhere else in the world or with any other man, but she's choosing to be, in this booth with me. So I do feel like as men, make it a great and exciting and memorable evening. Don't be you don't have to be a jackass. You don't have to be uncultured or anything. Be a man, be a gentleman, be chivalrous. Chivalry is not dead. I refuse to let chivalry die. It's not dead. It's not a lost art. And so I feel like, if I'm going to take the time, I do agree with you. I don't really, there is a such thing as wasting my time. But yeah, when it comes to dating, I have always talked about that money aspect over the time. You will hear me say, well, I wasted this money and I also wasted my time. But I'm also thinking about, well, I wasted this money. I could have spent that money on myself. I could have done something else, or I could have spent the money on a woman, that I'm more compatible with. And so I do find that, what you said has a lot of validity. I agree.
See how we can talk and we all can see each other's sides. Mo, what do you think?
No, he's absolutely correct. I've been in situations where no harm, no foul. It just wasn't a connection. And you and you eat just 100 left and you try to law. Like as a man, that's part of what comes with. It's wins and losses, it's whatever. Even you can see someone gave that. They're really attentive. They followed the phone calls leading up to the date. Wasn't a connection. And that's fair. When you see, them being attentive and they're not on their phone, they're not constantly taking, this is not a photo op, you know what I mean? But it just wasn't there. I have no issue with that. It was just only when they're not even looking at you, they're not on their phone. I told you I had one that turned the plate away from me and then took the picture.
I heard a lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of that social media now, that like they're trying to get the thing. I mean, but I also think, to your point, Trey, like if a woman, you can tell if a woman doesn't like you. And I think I've always told Mo and some of my other guy friends that, like, you gotta know if she doesn't really like you. And I also will say, I know this is not what people want to hear, but men that do have a lot of money, they don't really care. So I know, I have guy friends that are very, very wealthy, and I'll be like, she's just going out with you because of you're buying such and such for her, and they don't care. They're like, it's not a big deal. $1,500 is not a big deal. I don't mind. So I think it is the audience that's speaking to it, right? I can understand, because men make different levels of money, and women have different levels of beauty, you know what I mean? So everybody is getting in where they fit in, but there are men who don't really care about how much money they spend on a woman. And like I said, I never really had problems with that. But I also don't care. I went to Piedmont Park on a picnic one time for a date, you know what I mean? But then I was being nice and benevolent and agreed to go to Piedmont Park. His family owned a restaurant. We stopped by and get the food from the restaurant, went to Piedmont Park, and then he got upset because I didn't have on stilettos and a skimpy sundress. So it just, you know, it's ditches on either side of the road. But I do think that if you how you lead is how it ends. So if you're coming out like, well, I don't want to take you on a date because I'm gonna put you through a test, that could be a huge turnoff. Where if you just talk to the person, maybe you have more phone conversations. You know what I mean? Maybe you have more. Maybe you talk to a person a little bit more before you spend, or take them to a more modest restaurant before you spend big. But I think people are people, and if you just really have your discernment up, you could probably feel that the person is really, she's talking more about the place that you guys are going and that than she's talking about really getting to know you. And yes, Nola, he wanted me to wear stilettos at Piedmont Park. Crazy. Crazy. Walking in dirt, sir. So I think Trey, you need to teach an etiquette class to men on you know, you know,
I'm very big. I'm very big on chivalry. I'm very big on. The older I get, I've explained to people the same way your phone goes through an update every year, and with that update comes more, enhancements, more aesthetics. I believe as a man, I go through an update every year, and so the older I get, the more I prioritize being a gentleman when I'm with my woman. And so, and like I said, again, it doesn't mean that I'm perfect, but even my woman can tell you, she can give a testimony. She will tell you that she's seen me do things for her that she's never experienced with another man in terms of being a gentleman, because I believe in that. I just believe in that if I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up in the most genuine way possible and make the best impression I can.
yeah.
So, that's just, but again, that goes back to my value system.
Yeah, and that's why you have a relationship, because you agree with these things, and I think that you see things on social media that you don't agree with, but your character shows up, and that's why you were able to attract a person with good character. So I think eventually it all comes out in the wash. You know what I mean? It's just no way. I think when we are too busy focused on the negative, we attract negative. You know what I mean? And if you're thinking, well, I ain't gonna do this for her and I ain't gonna do that for her, you're probably not in a good place to date. And just like for me, when I was saying this boy's gonna waste my time, I probably wasn't in the best place to date, because I was more concerned about my time than I was actually pursuing what could possibly be a good relationship. And I had to change my thought process, because I shouldn't have been looking at it like that. But I was like, there's no ROI on this date. Like, there's no return on my investment. So this is be a waste of my time. So I didn't want to do it. So I had to learn that I couldn't look at it like that. I had to look at it like, just like I sit down with clients that I may not take on, and that's a part of the process, so I could get clients and secure them in that. I have to do the same thing when it comes to dates, and I have to do the same thing. So I had to change my outlook. I appreciate you hanging out with us today, Trey. Any last minute words that you want to say about the homosocial?
It was just interesting. Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said either topic.
The homosocial just caught my attention because I'd never seen that word before, and I've seen that the woman, I forgot her name. I know she's a comedian because I see a lot of her content. Yes, it does exist. It is something that, look, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. If you're out here dating, you need to keep your head on a swivel. Okay. You need to figure out, some level of, if you want to call it discernment, intuition, a third eye, something. But there are people out here that just because you can get their number or just because you find them attractive doesn't mean that they're interested in you, doesn't mean that you have shared values, shared core values, or anything. These are things that are going to come in time. These are things that are going to require investing in conversation, which requires time. But it doesn't matter to me, again, I want people to stay positive, because the fact of the matter is there may be one or two flies in the ointment, but there are still great people out here in the dating pool. There's still great people out here in the dating pool in Atlanta. I don't like to hear people castigate Atlanta as a terrible place for dating. No, you can come to Atlanta, and Atlanta, in the midst of all the shenanigans, there's some great and awesome people here who are on the same page as you. You have to find them. You have to date them. You have to find them, date them, do what you got to do. but I never want anybody to feel discouraged because you can find what you're looking for. If you're looking for that Mr. Right or Miss Right or your future, spouse, whatever the case may be, you have to do the work, but remain positive, keep your head on a swivel and keep moving forward.
I agree. I like that. And I love the fact that you ended on a positive note. Obviously, you and your girlfriend are very happy that there's proof that there are guys out there that do want good relationship. They do want a real relationship. They do have respect for women. But I would think today's takeaway is you really have to pay attention to what it is. Everybody wants different things, right? And I think paying attention to how that person talks, what their discussion is, and a lot of times it can be difficult if you're attracted to the person, right? Because you may not be listening as carefully as you should, to when she has a bad attitude, or you may not be listening as carefully as you should when he don't want to really hang out with women and he really don't value women's contributions in any other area besides the bedroom or the kitchen. You may not listen to those things if you're very attracted to that person. Or if you've been single for a long time, sometimes we just want a relationship so bad, we just go into it without really vetting the person and doing our due diligence. So I would say that would be my takeaway from tonight. There are people out there that will not have a problem treating you right on the first date. But there are also guys that don't. I personally would not want to date a guy that I went out with this guy that we met online and he wanted to go to Starbucks. So I was like, okay, because again, my goal is not food. So I was like, we can go to Starbucks. I get there, he sees me and he's like, oh, we can go eat. No, then I was like, now I'm turned off. You know what I mean? I don't want to go out with somebody that's testing and has a negative attitude. You know what I mean? Because that already, at this point, you're probably just interested because you saw me turn around in a sundress. That's not really who I am. And if that's what you're focused on, I'm straight. And he definitely ended up being a dud. You know what I mean? So I think that's for me. Now, I think everybody has to look for what is important to them, male or female. But I do think anytime you approach it with a negative attitude, you're going to get negativity back. Which is
True that. True that.
Oh, I agree.
All right. Well, we are going to let our guest go. Trey, thank you so much for hanging out with us, even though you were had to make a sacrifice. I appreciate that. Definitely, you had great feedback as always. So we appreciate you hanging out.
Thank you, brother.
Okay?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I enjoyed myself. God bless you, and can't wait to the next one. Okay,
sounds good. We will definitely see you again soon. All right, we should have him talk about just the chivalry thing, because that is, I don't think I have went on a date and a guy stood up when I came back to the table in years.
The wild thing, like I'm reading the comments. That's why I'm laughing. They say Mo don't have a poker face. That's not because I'm looking here. Because I'm looking here.
Yeah.
Teach Mo. Teach like y'all don't even know me. Y'all know me on here, but y'all never been out on a date with me. And
there may be some people in this chat that have been on a date with you.
No, nobody in this chat, trust me. But and then the other thing is, I'm a gentleman to a lady. You know what I'm saying?
Why would you go out with anybody that's not a lady?
Carries herself. Let's break it down even further. Carries herself like a lady. Now, I'm fair to everybody, even the hoes. I'm fair to everybody. But I'm a gentleman. Let's be real clear. So I just want to say, I just saw that and was like, teach Mo.
Tammy said she was kidding, Mo. She was not serious. She was being funny. So she was playing.
LOL or the laughing, crying face after that. So I ain't know, but I just wanted to clear that up.
And you there said, Tammy, you ain't a lady.
We never been out. They don't know. It's cool. I don't take. But I just wanted to make it clear, like, when you're out with a lady, but trust me, if someone doesn't carry themselves like a lady, doing certain things, you do feel like a fool. And it's like, wow, I'm wasting my gentleman energy. Now, I'm not saying be disrespectful. Like I said, I'm fair to everyone. I'm not going to disrespect you or whatever, but I'm definitely not doing certain things. Me, personally, you know. If
No,
you can,
hey, I think people should do what they want. Do
yeah,
what they want and get what they want, and maybe we should stop talking on social media so much, because I think we offer like a balance, but there's so much negative conversation on social media. It makes it so much worse. Like, I really, when I was dating, social media wasn't like this. This is wild. This is wild. Like, people are just hating on each other.
I don't get, like, I think it's funny when people be like, I can't take some. I grew up, I was super grown before this was out. So
Yeah.
it don't bother me. I see it, but I know life before this, before cell phones. Like, so now the younger people, I think they got a harder time because they don't know nothing different.
Yeah.
I'm different. So I'm not caught up in this thing.
Yeah, I definitely think people should not. But I will say this: if you're dating and you are listening to social media, it can probably distract you. You know what I mean? Because hearing some of the things that people say, it could distract you. So I feel like you have to guard your ears, you have to guard your heart. There's a scripture that says, "Guard your heart, because within it is the well springs of life." I think you have to guard your ears, because if you want something positive, you shouldn't be listening to all this negative stuff that's being, especially with Black men and Black women. If y'all know, now I don't know, because my algorithm has mostly us. I don't think that white people are doing this to each other. Maybe they are. I need to do some research on that, but it just seems to be us. And I think you have to realize that has to be strategic, right? Because why are we so mean to each other and tearing each other down? Like, even if you don't like it, you don't have to come on and put something negative out there for everybody else. Just do you. Just date out. If you, whatever you like, run after that. You know what I mean? And it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Speak life. I like to
speak life, because really, when you do that, words are always boomerangs that come back to you. Always. So if you're speaking negative on someone else, it's always going to come back to you. Always. It is always that way. And we have to be smarter. We really have to be smarter and less emotional, and realize there's a reason that I'm seeing all this negativity, and all I have to do is just turn it off.
Balance it out, man. My affirmations in the morning get me through the day. I don't listen to nothing ratchet or relationship wise or anything until I feed my soul. Then and I go, I've sent you a few over the years. Like, I have to start off my day with that.
And speaking of that, I'm starting my days off. I'm doing a devotional with a girlfriend of mine, and she has this devotional book. I'll put it in the chat, in the description of this later. So you guys like this, and I'll put it in the description. It's a book on just finding yourself, and 10 days just getting with like-minded women and speaking positivity in life. It's just that little things like that are really important, because literally whatever your issue is, if you're trying to find a job and all you're doing is watching people talk about how the job market is messed up, you're going to have bad energy. It's going to be difficult because you're clouding your brain. So whatever you're dealing with, try to focus on hearing positive things, because that's going to make it a lot easier. So we try to give you guys a little laughter, but we really, at the end of the day, we want to make it a positive experience. So we don't ever want to be compared or lumped in with those other shows that really show. And there are a lot of shows that I think do have positivity, but there are a lot of them that are just chasing the viral moment, and it's negative, right? And that's not what we're doing here. So we appreciate the fact that you guys hang out with us. We may not always agree on everything, but overall, our goal is to be positive, right? And so that's really what this is about. Speaking of being positive, it's going to be rough. We're Ready to Love on Friday, because there's some things happening on there that are wild. But I want you guys to tune in on Friday. Now, Mo, we've had some complaints about the fact that we split it. We split the 2 hours on Friday with Ready to Love.
Can I keep it real? I don't like it.
Okay.
This your show. I don't like it. I like it.
All right. I came up with it because I wanted us to I didn't want to take too much more of your time, but I also wanted us to talk about both shows.
I don't work on Saturdays no more. It's cool.
So we just have to do it on Saturday. We just have to do Love and Marriage Huntsville and run it on Saturday, because
No, I thought you meant we're gonna run it all together back to back without.
Oh, you mean 4 hours?
Without breaking it up. That's what
We have. Well, the reason that we have to break it up, because there are some people that are not interested in Ready to Love, that love Love and Marriage Huntsville.
And they supposed to show up at 10 o'clock, right?
But you gotta, but when people are watching the replay, you want them to be able to get what they want. So if I like Love and Marriage Huntsville, I don't want to listen to y'all talk about Ready to Love for 2 hours.
Oh, well,
I want to get to what I want to hear. So we could run it, we could give it 2 hours and run it back, but we're gonna be up late. And I don't know that our audience is ready to stay up late.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you still meant an hour each, this one continuous show without, okay, my bad.
No, because the problem is even with timestamps, there are people that don't like it and they just won't click on it. Trust me. Gotcha. I think we have to do them separate. So we just have to figure that out. Mo and I will talk about it and we'll figure it out. But we got to do Ready to Love. We're going to give it its full due because I think Friday we got to have some real conversation. So we will see you guys Friday at 10 o'clock, right after the episode. Well, an hour after the episode of Ready to Love, and then we'll just figure out when to do Love and Marriage Huntsville. If we do it later that night or if we do it another day, we'll figure it out and we'll let you guys know. Does that work?
Yes. Y'all, does that work? Let us know in the comments, please.
Yeah, give us some comments because I did see that and I didn't know that you didn't like it, but I was just trying to figure out how do we give both of them that like their own show.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right, Jody, you girl, it is 1:42 in. You missed the live again, man. We will see you Friday at 10 o'clock. Thank you guys for hanging out. Remember, you can turn your week around. It is Wednesday. You have the opportunity to end strong. End strong. Trust me, you can do it. It's all about your perspective and the way you approach today. Do something like Mo, get up in the morning and do your affirmations. I'm doing devotional. Every day we get a chance to try to do it right. So let's try to make it happen.
There we go, y'all.
All right. We love you guys for watching. We'll see you on Friday. All right.
Friday, y'all.